Halloween Horror Nights has been going on for a few weeks now. The scare actors all warmed up, more than warmed up. They're in their prime right now. They're in their scaring prime. What better night to figure out what is the best house for Halloween Horror Nights 2021 than right now? Let's go inside and find out. And just how am I gonna figure out the best house, the best haunted house for Halloween Horror Nights? We're gonna make a clockwise trip around the park playing King of the Mountain. The first house is automatically gonna be King of the Mountain. Then we'll go to the next house and see if the next house can knock it off the mountain. And we'll just go around all 10 houses that way until we figure it out. The first house we come to, Case Files Unearthed, Legendary Truth. Let's go see how we like it. Step into the shoes of Boris Schuster, a hard-boiled private eye investigating the supernatural. Follow his search for clues into the darkness of a shadowy film noir world populated by ghouls, poltergeists, and all manner of monstrous terrors. Face the horrific creatures in a seedy apartment, an abandoned warehouse, and the Museum of Natural History and more. Enter the Kit Kat Club where you'll be attacked by terrifying she-devils. Search for the totems that will complete the tale. The tale of mystery that's best left unsolved. Well, since that's the first house, it's automatically King of the Mountain for now. Long-time Halloween Horror Nights fans, they're gonna like that house. There's a lot of history and lore in that house. Now, if you're not familiar with Legendary Truth, you might not get some of the things happening in there, but it's an okay house. King of the Mountain for now, but mainly just because it's the first house and only house we've been in. The Bride of Frankenstein lives. We belong dead. The last words of Frankenstein's monster when his bride rejected him. Now she'll stop at nothing to bring him back. This time, the Bride of Frankenstein is stepping out of the shadows and taking her fate into her own bloody hands. The mate will have her monster, and the monster is his mate. Don't get caught between her and the brides of Dracula, who she captures and drains in hopes of reanimating her love. Just getting out of Bride of Frankenstein Lives. The bride easily knocked off Legendary Truth, so therefore the bride is now the new King of the Mountain. And with that, you see exactly how this little King of the Mountain game's gonna go. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Step inside of the dilapidated Texas home of the depraved, sadistic Sawyer family who welcomes you with razor-sharp blades and a roaring chainsaw. You've seen the 1974 horror classic? Enter the Sawyer house and meet Leatherface and his demented family of merciless butchers. Will you make it out in one piece or in pieces? Alright, this one is really tough. I'm going to say Bride kind of wins with set design barely, but I think I had more scares, and there's more scares in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Therefore, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is now the new King of the Mountain. We're having a hard time having these houses stay on top of the mountain. Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. The innocent traditions of the Tooth Fairy hide a darker ritual. It's eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. You're about to discover the sinister reality behind the seemingly innocent childhood tradition. All children must give up their baby teeth to the Tooth Fairies or pay a gruesome price. Hold in your screams or risk exposing your own teeth to their monstrous, grasping claws. Okay, that was an easy one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's so loud here. Texas Chainsaw Massacre defeats Tooth Fairy. Tooth Fairy could not knock it off the top of the mountain, so therefore we have someone stay on top for a change. Texas Chainsaw Massacre remains on top of the mountain. HHN icons captured. For the first time ever, 30 years of characters from your worst nightmares come together to decide who's the most evil of them all. You'll meet Jack the Clown, Storyteller, Caretaker, and many more, all in one house for the first time ever. Who's the most evil of them all? Depending on when you visit, a different icon will reign supreme. Another close one, but when I completed the house, icons captured, it was Jack on the throne. Now, as far as can the icons house knock off Texas Chainsaw for King of the Mountain, it is so close, but I'm going to keep Texas Chainsaw Massacre on top of that mountain. Okay, and now we have a bit of a walk to get to the next haunted house. We have to go through this scare zone, Seek and Destroy, here in New York City. And I might mention, you know what, I will mention this. As far as the scare zones are concerned, this one, Seek and Destroy, I would place it top 2. This is definitely one of the better scare zones. And now we need to make our way through the next scare zone, which is Crypt TV. I would say, for me, not that scary of a scare zone, but I mean, it does have some creepy aspects to it. Before we get to the next house, we actually happen upon the stage show, Halloween Nightmare Fuel. I don't want to give too much away, because there's some cool surprises in here, but I would describe it as a pyro dance acrobatic illusion show. Check it out if you get the chance. A couple of nice shocks and surprises in this show. All right, finally, we've made it to the next house. Welcome to Scary, horror in the heartland. In Cary, bad things just happen. No one escapes from this small town, beset by an endless parade of bloodthirsty creatures and maniacs. If it claws, bites, feasts on blood, or just likes to rip people to shreds, it somehow finds its way to Cary. You can scream all you want in Cary, but everybody's too busy doing their own screaming to pay much attention to you. Well, I just got out of Cary, Scary, Ohio, if you will. A nice little house, not scary enough to like knock Texas Chainsaw Massacre off the mountain. Texas Chainsaw Massacre truly is king of the mountain right now. The very next house we come to is the Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin. There's no breaking free from the vines of the Pumpkin Lord, here to entrap you in his ever-growing evil. An evil rot has taken root in the land. It's time once again for the rise of the Pumpkin Lord, who grows Halloween like a malignant vine. His minions are scouring the countryside, collecting unwilling sacrifices in order to summon the Pumpkin Lord. From the cemetery to the forest, there is no breaking free of the tenuous vines of merciless Pumpkin Lord. We have a new king of the mountain, and it's Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin. What I liked about that house, a lot more like jump scares, where the scare actors are actually reaching for you. A great house that looked great, great scares. I like the kind of the jump scare aspect where they can really reach and kind of grab for you. For that reason, the best house, king of the mountain in fact, king of the mountain tonight. I should say king of the mountain for now. Let's see if Puppet Theater Captive Audience can unseat it at top of the mountain. A puppeteer and a ballet troupe trapped in a deserted theater for years are about to turn you into a human puppet. That's your cue to scream. All the blood will drain from your face as you see the green room run red with blood. If you manage to escape their gory puppetry, then you'll become part of the skeletal audience rotting in place. Nope. Wicked Growth remains king of the mountain. Now I will say this about Puppet Theater. I will say that has the best set designs of any of the houses I've seen so far. So I'll give it that, but not good enough for king of the mountain. Still Wicked Growth. Here in the Kids Zone, the last two houses of the night, Beetlejuice and Haunting of Hill House. Got trouble with the living? You know what to say. Beetlejuice, 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 it's showtime. Say it once, say it twice, say it 3 times. It's time to turn up the juice and see what shakes loose as this original film comes to life. More twisted and terrifying than ever, Beetlejuice will haunt, taunt, and send you screaming out of the haunted house. He'll torment you as you wander the checkerboard hallways and abandon you to your fate in the Lost Souls room. Be a part of the infamous dinner party scene and witness Beetlejuice's chaotic wedding. It's showtime. Just getting out of Beetlejuice. Now, you know, I went through that last year. It was here last year. It's a fun house. That little tunnel thing, that is trippy with your vision, but no way Beetlejuice is going to knock off Wicked Growth for King of the Mountain. So, Wicked Growth remains, Beetlejuice falls down. And now, the last house of the night, the last chance for a new King of the Mountain. Will it be the Haunting of Hill House, or will Wicked Growth remain King of the Mountain? The Haunting of Hill House. It stands like a brooding creature waiting for its victims. Enter the decaying remains of an aging mansion that lives, even if all who dwell there are long dead. Come face to face with the tall man, the bent neck lady, and the ghost in the basement, and more. Enter the red room and you may find yourself spending all of your eternity listening to the sounds of your own screams. Not quite at the end yet, guys. You're almost there though. I want to remind you, click that subscribe button and that bell notification button so you'll know when another video is ready for you to view. Alrighty guys, obviously I'm all done with the Haunting of Hill House. I'm just walking to the front of the park. I want to collect my thoughts. This is for all the marbles to determine who is king of the mountain. I don't want to make this decision too hasty, so we're taking a walk, going to the front of the park, and when we get out to the arches, I think I would have made up my mind which house is king of the mountain for Halloween Horror Nights 2021. And by the way, since I'm in it, I need to mention Lights, Camera, Action, the Scare Zone. Again, a very, very good scare zone. This and Seek and Destroy, my two favorite scare zones. Well, I was trying to find a quiet spot. That's not gonna happen. So here's my thoughts on the Haunting of Hill House. I'm gonna say this, the tall man effect that they have in that house is one of the best effects you're gonna have for all of Halloween Horror Nights. However, not enough to unseat Wicked Growth. Therefore, the King of the Mountain for 2021 Halloween Horror Nights 30 is the original house, Wicked Growth. Wow, what a night, so much fun. I'm coming back tomorrow night. And despite wearing a Leatherface Texas Chainsaw t-shirt, it didn't win. It was Wicked Growth. Wicked Growth was King of the Mountain, but let me give you Rix half top 6. Number 1 would be Wicked Growth, number 2, The Haunting of Hill House, and then number 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So there's Rix half top 6 for HHN 2021. And as always, don't miss the magic, don't miss the scares. Thanks for watching Rix Flix, and now it's time to relax.